you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Down with OTC. Down with OTC.
Down with OTC. What's going on tonight, Jeff?
OTC. What's up?
It's Monday Night Live. Monday Night Live. Jeff and Chip coming to you live from South Florida. One night only. Monday night. What's going on, crypto family?
Except it's not Monday.
Live. Tuesday night only. Did I get it right, Jeff, or I got to keep going?
I have no idea. I think it's Friday. It's got to be Friday somewhere.
One night only.
I'm ready for Friday.
Today felt like a Monday. I got to be honest with you. So maybe I'm reverting back to it.
Seemed like a Monday.
Well, once again, we've got an amazing show, just packed full of stuff that I hope we get the most of it, or some of it, or any of it. Would be nice too.
We're not leaving here until we get through every last bit of it. How about that?
That sounds fair. We get into the. We're going to talk a little bit about this. The new, Brian Brooks is out, and we have this new OCC head is in. Good or bad?
Coming in.
We're going to explore that to a nice level. We're going to take a look behind that, and of course, get into some XRP news and all kinds of crypto stuff.
All sorts of stuff. We got SEC. We talked a little bit about that before. We also have another. Person coming in as Treasury Secretary. So we're going to talk a little bit about the potential impact about these new people coming in to the digital asset space. I want you guys, as we get ready to get this thing started, give a shout out to where you guys are from. We love seeing people coming in here from all over the world. So we try to make everything we talk about applicable, whether you're sitting here in Florida or you're way over on the other side of the world in Australia, Japan, Thailand, somewhere in the Middle East. Somewhere in Africa, Latin America, wherever you might be coming in from. So
right on. Okay, let's do it, Jeff. Let's do it.
Let's go. Go.
Welcome to On the Chain with Jeff and Chip.
Look at that. It is Taco and Tequila Tuesday.
I think we need to change our intro. Join Jeff and Chip for a Taco and Tequila Tuesday.
I mean, that's usually on Friday for our family, Jeff. We always like to sip some tequila on Friday, have some tacos. There's this little taco joint around the corner. There was featured on Taco that drives, dives, whatever that thing is with the dude with the weird hair.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but apparently they were on it. But I know that it's
different show.
Yeah, it's drives, dives, and cleaners and gas stations. I don't know what it's called.
Have you ever been to my couch? Man,
no, I've never been there.
XRP is tuning in from.
But I bet it's from Miami 305 in the house. Yeah, 305 area code right there.
Yo, Darcy's coming in from India today.
Yeah, well, he's always coming in from a new place, so there you go. You got California in the house.
Nice.
California
Tokyo,
in the house. A lot of
SoCal.
España.
Got Ripple Preacher all the way in from Spain.
I like
that.
So
what do we got here? Carlos in from New Jersey.
I like this the best, Jeff, right there. Whiskey Tuesday for me.
Whiskey Tuesday. Man, I kind of pawn. Man, that's great.
I kind of pawn. We were actually talking about that. We're looking for a sponsor. We're going to do one night a week. We're going to do the whiskey stream. Jeff and I are going to drink the whiskey. Someone's going to send it to us, and because of that, we're going to put the link down below, and we're going to be able to tell people, hey, they're like, what whiskey is that? Oh, yeah, this is from our sponsor, and we'll just drink whiskey and talk. We did do one whiskey stream, Jeff. Do you remember that one?
I do remember that, I think.
Do you remember it? Yeah, it was like, we did a whiskey stream.
A little while ago. And by the way, I Kind of Pawn, I think, was first in the stream tonight as well. So he was on for like 45 minutes waiting. So I just thought that was interesting to point that out.
You guys get some sleep. Andrew Nation's in the house. What's up? Andrew Nation from the Great White North up there.
Yes, El Chapo is coming from Afghanistan. Afghanistan, check that out. There you go.
El Chapo.
Yo, where's Arcadia? 863. Gotta be up near Tampa.
Yeah, probably. I think it is.
Right. Somewhere in that area.
You're 954. I'm 561. We got 305 in the house. We have South Florida covered, Jeff.
Got South Florida covered. Punta Gorda over here.
Punta Gorda. That's the West Coast right there.
Yeah. Got New Orleans, Finland.
Did you say New Orleans? Nolans is how they say it. Nolans.
That's sweet. Yep. And all right. Hey, let's talk about some stuff. How about
let's talk about some stuff. Yeah, I mean, something I wanted to talk about a while ago, but for some reason it just never.
Where's this? Where's Adelaide?
That's in Australia, mate.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
By the way, I was on a conference call today with Australia, and man, it's amazing to hear the different There's some different dialects in Australia as well, so it was like interesting to hear Sydney. Yeah, Sydney there. Yeah, it's cool because I mean, like here we are, like end of our day, and it's like early morning at 7 over there.
Day. I wonder what tomorrow's like. I guess we could reach out to them and ask.
It's the future, man. I love talking to the future. We also
have got crypto space from Serbia. That's awesome.
There you go. That is awesome.
Oh, check out who's here. Look at this. Oh, no, wait. Where'd it go? Wait, there it is right there. Matt Morrow, excited to see you there too.
Here. Beautiful.
But Spanish Fly. I haven't seen Spanish Fly on in a long time. Great to have you on. Coming in from Twitter. So, what we got?
There you go.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. Holland. Netherlands in the house. One of my favorite places to visit. One of my favorite places to... I got some stories about... Yeah, I've got some stories about...
Baldwinsville. That sounds like Baldwinsville, New York.
Is it?
Baldwinsville, I think, if it's the same Baldwinsville, outside of Syracuse.
How many Baldwinsvilles do you know? I can't even say that
one I know.
Fast. There you go.
I don't know any others, so I'm gonna jump to that one first. So
yeah, let's jump into it. So there's a bunch of changes happening. You know, we talked a little bit about the SEC change that's upcoming, right? Once upon a time, Gary Gensler said it was cool. It could have been a security. Now it's not a security, but at least he understands. At least there's getting somebody in there that has that taught crypto, taught a class, was a professor at a university, obviously teaching it. You have to be able to most of the time you need to understand what you're talking about. So this is somebody who gets it. So we have some other incoming people. Who should we talk about first, Jeff? And then we'll talk about what our thoughts are about how that's going to work out, or based on what we know and based on some of the stuff we've heard. So we can kind of forecast it from there.
I think, we can go through the, let's talk about the Treasury first. I got one person I got to just talk about real quick.
Come on, man, Berserker.
Berserker's
All right.
in the house.
Berserker. All right, so let's go into this thing with the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen. And I think it's important to bring this up because as we start seeing new people, coming into the U.S., replacing, we've seen a lot of movement, positive movement, some dragging feet movement in the U.S. Obviously, we saw Jay Clayton drop the bomb, on the Ripple, and the XRP community, and then fled, hit the road. He's like, hey, let me leave this behind, and he was out. We talked about that one. But now we're starting to see, obviously more change coming to the SEC, more change coming to OCC. But what about this with Janet Yellen? Because one of the things that she said and that she's concerned about is that cryptocurrencies are used to fund illicit activities. And she says at a time when worry that regulatory scrutiny beckons for the industry. She didn't say that, but that's what this writer had said, that we want regulatory clarity. I don't know, scrutiny. But here she is again talking about cryptocurrencies used to fund illicit activities.
Well, it's the same old story we're hearing drummed up and up, and it's like, and everyone's going after Bitcoin. It's like it's used for illicit. I mean, has anybody even calculated? Do they even check the bankrolls of the fines? Who else did I see got fined? Somebody. It was another well-known bank got fined something like $500 million, and they're like, it's just a Tuesday. That's it. We'll see what we get next week. So it's like there are billions of dollars every single year just in the U.S. of money laundering, all kinds of illicit stuff. That's just the stuff they get nailed for. That's not the stuff that nobody knows about. And meanwhile, they're trying to create this this sort of bad guy. The crypto, it's scary. You can lose all your money. It's highly speculative. Speculative, and the bottom line is, well, any investment is. So she was also the Federal Reserve Chair, which is a reason that I'm not really down with the whole Yellen thing. From 2004 to 2008, was it 4 to 8? Let me see, what was it? 14 to 18. That's what it was. And I'm not a big fan of the Federal Reserve. Just like any central bank, it's not really a positive thing. It's all centralized and closed up, and nobody knows what's happening. In the whole history, going back to the early 1900s, the Federal Reserve has never been audited, Jeff. Now, what is you look at the scrutiny that a public company goes through. Look at the scrutiny that Ripple's under after trying to explain, hey, by the way, regulators, we're doing this. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve, no audits. No one knows what the balance sheet, no one knows anything. They're just speculating. Is that weird?
Yeah. No, that is weird. It's one of the more critical elements within the financial space, and so here's something that she continued with here. She said, I think many cryptocurrencies are used, at least in transaction sense, mainly for illicit financing, and I think we really need to examine ways in which we can curtail their use and make sure that anti-money laundering doesn't occur through those channels. Now, doesn't it? I mean, she's completely out of touch with what's really happening. But here you have her come in on one side, as Treasury Secretary, completely, in the dark, similar to Maxine Waters and all the rest that just have been clueless over the digital asset space. Yellen probably doesn't know how to use, her phone for texting like the rest of them, but yet she wants to comment on the digital asset space, on the financial space, not taking away anything of her being intelligent in finance and economics, but Jamie Dimon also said that, Bitcoin, and criticized his daughter once for buying one Bitcoin, saying that she was foolish or whatever. But now, so you have her on one side, and then you have Gensler on the other side that taught blockchain tech. And many have talked about him being, tough on regulation. But there's also a lot of expectation that he's going to push towards getting some sort of regulatory clarity in the digital asset space if he truly believes in blockchain. But can he do that if he's being offset by a Treasury Secretary that doesn't?
Yeah, well, one thing, I mean, so far, I think the potential the winner out of all this right now is Gensler, only because he has the track record. At least we know something about him. A lot of times you don't know where somebody stands. They're not. You don't have the purview. You don't know what they've done. But there's a lot of stuff on video that we've seen. So it kind of seems like somebody who gets it. Now, regulating something and understanding the tech are two different things, because a lot of it falls along unfortunately along the lines of potential ideology. And what I mean by that is, if you believe in a certain ideology of control, and like the government's job is to do this and that, like you have Janet Yellen saying anti-money laundering. Well, that's what we refer to as AML, and then KYC, know your customer. That's why you have to provide your social security number or whatever number in your country. That's why you have to supply, an ID, the date, all this stuff. Meanwhile, she has clueless. She goes, anti-money laundering. Well, yeah, why don't you step up, because we've had that for some time now, and she is clueless about it.
That's right. What is up, Apex Crypto? Good to see you here.
Hey, Bob Moneybags in the house. Whoa, Bob Moneybags. He's an OG. Bob, most banks don't even mess with crypto yet. They're working on a CTR for crypto now. And many banks generate alerts on customers just for large purchases, depending on the bank. It's so annoying. Yeah, it is very, very annoying. Well, the thing about it is I look at what Jamie Dimon said. It says, like, these fintechs, we ought to be scared, shitless is what he said. Not my words, but his. And that's why they're starting to pick up and acquire these. So, yeah, I appreciate that. Good to see you, Bob.
Yeah, big shout out to Lady E and XRP Bags as well.
Yeah, two of our awesome rappers in our community and music maestros, I should say, and Reiki practitioners, if I can say that as well. So I'll throw it all in there. Why not? Put it all on the table, right?
Put it all out there.
Yeah, put it all out there. So I think when it comes to watching Brian Brooks, we finally got somebody that came in, promised some things were going to happen, and started this is Coinbase's senior counsel, is right for Coinbase, who understands cryptocurrency, has described in so many words, either XRP or XLM, talking about 3-4 seconds, pennies, less than a penny, fractional pennies to send. He's gotten into that sort of conversation. He didn't come out and really pick it, but he's like, well, why should the government be building anything when there's already the privates, companies have already built this, and he's already made that pretty clear. So it's going to be hard to, I don't care who you bring in. I mean, it's not going to be Brian Brooks, right? And I'm a little bit dismayed, because do you remember Brian Brooks saying 6 or 7, 8 weeks ago, saying regulatory clarity in 2021, it's coming. And then all of a sudden it's like the next week here, like, hey guys, see you later. I'm moving off to my, to Goldman Sachs or wherever he's headed. I don't know. I just say Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan or, one of these investment. Yeah, who knows, man? One of these investment banks. Hard to know, really.
Oh, it's so crazy, man. It's as we try to navigate what's going on, every time you have a switchover within, internally in the government, people are going to come in with different ideas, different opinions, and above everything else, they're there to make a mark, right? So whether it's a good mark or a bad mark, they're there to make their mark. And that's potentially what we're going to be seeing with some of these people that step in. Now, Brian Brooks, he was just acting, comptroller of the currency.
Right.
We were hoping he would go full time with something like that. But, the things that he accomplished in the period of time that he was there, one of the big ones, I brought this up yesterday, was that he, passed some clarity on banks not being able to stop specific industries from being able to bank. And I think that's a big one, because that's definitely focused on some of the banks that wouldn't let consumers, move money from an exchange from a crypto exchange back to their bank, or the weapons industry, or, we talked about that a little bit yesterday, but that's a net positive, and yet there's probably people out there, not in our community, but people out there in society at large that look at something like that, like, oh my God, I can't believe that he just allowed the weapons industry to use banks. they don't look at the bigger picture. They're not looking at everything. You can't boycott a specific industry and try to block them from a financial source, which then goes back to what was the original point and concept of Bitcoin, right? It was supposed to put the power of banking back in the hands of the people. That was the premise. That was the whole idea of this entire space developing, moving away from, from that. Did that happen with Bitcoin? Not so much. I think now we're seeing the big financial institutions. I mean, to an extent, if the financial institutions are going to get into it, hey, you know what? They just cut out a whole bunch of fat that's cutting into their profit. Now they can just, buy it directly.
Yeah, and I think what we're going to start seeing more and more, you start seeing, somebody brought it up on the stream last night about the idea that a lot of governments is really kind of crazy. A lot of governments are failing. You have a lot of people resigning. There's all kinds of craziness going on right now. So I do feel like there's this internal fight, and it's really a global fight. It's not really a change of guard in the U.S. It's a change of guard all over it's happening in Europe. You're seeing it everywhere. It's just crazy. All of these, in the Middle East, you're seeing all these governments are potentially falling. In the Netherlands, you're seeing it. You just like, I'm hearing overtones of potentially, Poland. And what we have to look at there too is like, first of all, why is it happening? We could probably have a million different reasons why, or, our ideology might lead us down a certain path. But the bottom line is that we're going to start seeing more of these struggles internally, because the central banks really want control. They're starting to wise up a bit. And when everybody in the community says, oh, look, they want to do a digital dollar. Hey, they want to do a digital dollar. And then they want to give people in the U.S., they want to give them, $5 or $20 or $600, whatever it may be. And then elsewhere, they want to start, central bank digital currency. But they don't really want to do it. They kind of want it to be in the blockchain, but they want it to be private and all this control. So we're going to start seeing a lot of push and shove. It's going to start getting a little bit crazy from what I'm looking at. But really the safe haven, really the winner in all this is digital assets. That's what they are. Digital assets become the safe haven for all this nuttiness that's going on. Whether you're on that side or this side, that doesn't really matter. What matters is the true freedom that's been birthed. Because before you were locked in, Jeff, to a fiat, right? And then you might trade a fiat currency that had a little more stability. Maybe you'd get into the pound because it was a little more stable at the time, or maybe the U.S. dollar. You know what I'm saying? You would do something, or the FX markets are always, they can be volatile to a certain extent. But now we have digital assets to invest in. I think that you're going to start seeing more adoption, more people jumping in. I saw a good article tweeted tonight that HBC was closing 30 locations. You want to know the reason they're closing them, Jeff?
Why is that?
Digital banking. More people are going to digital banking, digital fintechs. And what does that mean? That means more adoption. So I think we're positioned in a really good place. With all the nuttiness and craziness going around, we've got our digital assets. We have our investments. Some coins will go up, some coins will go down. But man, we're probably in one of the better places we've been. That's just my 2 cents, Jeff. I want to get your thoughts on where you think.
I agree with you on that. I think that as we're moving into this digital space, into the crypto space, digital asset space, we've seen over the past couple of years, we've seen a little bit of tension between the old guard, the new guard, the governments and the crypto space, the banks and the crypto space. It's still unfolding today. We've seen it country to country. India suffered through it and is still suffering through it. The U.S. has been going through it. People want some sort of clarity, not full regulation and over-regulation of the crypto space, but clarity of the crypto space. Let's get something on the books to kind of explain what everything is, so that there aren't any unknown variables. And you need to have the proper partners that are helping to write the laws for regulatory clarity. Hence, the idea behind the Token Taxonomy Act, with Darren Soto and Warren Davidson. That was a perfect start, which gave everything, kind of changed the the security laws, the security acts from 1933 and 1934, the IRS tax rule from 86. There's so many things they were amending. It wasn't like a major change. It's like, hey, why don't we just add crypto to this conversation? Let's address, how, and this is all relevant to the U.S., not so much to the rest of the world, but You know, when you sell a digital asset, if you're transacting from Bitcoin to XRP, and there was some form of a realized gain in that transaction in a crypto, then it's a taxable event. Every single movement is a taxable event, and I think that those types of things need to be addressed in order for this space to get to the next level, and that's what we've seen a lot of people want. That's why I think it's relevant. But to your point, you know, these conversations are taking place all over the world. Japan is, as we mentioned over the past few streams, is just a lot further ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to pull this other thing. Holy cow, I got so many things up. Did I just lose that? Maybe. I don't know. Okay, I want to show you this. I'm going to drop this in the stream here, but this is something I wanted to show. But this is Professor Gary Gensler. This is his complete course on blockchain and money. This is something he did in fall 2018. It's a whole course here, so you can take this whole course. If you want to learn more about him, and I love. Maybe if somebody in the community wants to, you know, out there wants to take a look at this, I'll drop it in the chat. But, you know, it's this kind of stuff where we start getting a good feel for him to see where he's coming from. But I just dropped that in there. Actually, let me drop it. Oh, can I grab that?
What are you putting up there? Just want YouTube. What is it?
Yeah, this is the.
What's his name?
This is the course. Gensler. Yeah, Gensler. This is like his whole entire course on. So if you guys want to just look at that. Yeah, I should have put the name up there. It's the MIT S12, whatever it is, 15.S12 blockchain and money. This is what he did in fall of 2018. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, this is how we'll learn more and more about somebody. But you know, it's like I said, at least he's up on it. He's working it. You know, it's not like he's not, you know, hasn't done anything on the subject. Another thing too, this is going to be important, I think, for people out there that are using I Trust Capital, and this is that, you know, if you like an IRA, the platform is not going to support XRP trading after January 20th at 1 p.m. So that's something to kind of take notice of. They put this notice out there. I just want to inform everybody if you're using I Trust as a you know, as an IRA. So they say they don't have direct access to the tokens unless sent as an in-kind distribution. Learn more about distributions, visit our IRS FAQ. And they say they will continue to be supporters of the XRP community. Unfortunately, continued regulatory scrutiny of XRP has caused the last of our liquidity partners to suspend XRP trading. So you can see a lot of this is like a waterfall effect where one person, you know, somebody, and this is exactly what happened to the XRP trust. Right, it sort of got dissolved because they were going to have some problem with liquidity moving XRP into USD, and that's why they had to dissolve, and not because I mean, it's a waterfall effect. So this thing happens. If there's no liquidity, then they can't get it out, and that's exactly what's happened with I Trust Capital. So just if you guys are using it out there, just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up.
Yeah, I think that's great. A couple comments here. One from the Ripple Preacher. Maybe we should use Japan as our lead in regulation, the only country with real-time experience in crypto mainstream banking. So that's one. And then this one I thought was
that's a great idea, by the way.
Yeah, I love that idea. You got to look for where there's some case precedent. But here, Bob Moneybags, do you think crypto will evolve to be more controlled, as in brokerages that sell these assets will be required to hold them and comply with KYC?
You know, I kind of think so. I mean, again, it's like I don't want to like lead into it, but I do think that in some ways there will exercise a little more control over it. I mean, I can definitely see that potentially.
It's already happening. I mean,
it's happening, but I don't want to say because I don't want to forecast it. I'd really like less control. I like less regulation. You go like, hey, we need regulation. They regulate like, oh, that was, you know, it's like when you turn in the car and you accidentally turn one way, you oversteer the other way, and that's why I hope it's not going to be more control. But you know, Bob, you're raising a good question and a good concept there.
And that's what Ray's saying. I don't want to be regulated.
I like that. You don't regulate Ray. No one
wants to be regulated either. You know.
Hell no, man. And you know what, gentlemen?
Nobody
wants to be regulated. Regulate. By the way, there's a great song from the '90s called "Regulate." I was listening to it 2 days ago. How weird is that?
And then what was that movie? What was that movie with Emilia Estevez?
I don't know.
Estefan, yeah, cowboy movie, and he had the Regulators. Go on. Is that Wyatt Earp?
It was one of those cool movies. I don't
One
know,
of those
but
Wyatt Earp movies.
now if you guys know
Nothing to do with it.
coining 203 out there, I love this because he says, we're always looking at things, what we're going to do when we moon. And he says, hey, one of the first things that I'm buying when we moon is this thing right here. And you're like, well, what is it? Well, it's pretty simple. You throw something in there and it comes out and folds all your clothes, right?
Dude,
so
I
throw
love
all your
that.
I mean, look at how cool this is, right? Throw your shirts in there, put your pants in there, pantalones, right? Look, the kids are even doing it, Jeff.
Look at that. I need that.
25
Where do you get that thing?
I don't know where you get it, but Alex has got dibs on this thing when it moons.
Dude, that one looks like a printer. So that's really cool.
It's called the Foldamate. You can fold your laundry in neat piles, which is great. Look at that.
Right.
Boom, ready to go.
And it would be cool. They could create micropayments, and they could do it by use, and then you could just stream your Coil payments over to it.
Now you're thinking about use case. I like that. Next thing you know,
you don't have to pay for it. They just deliver it.
That's fantastic, right? I mean, anything that makes that easier, you always try to fold it up neat, and it never comes out the right way. It's always a little bit messed up.
Yep.
A little bit messed up of some kind.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's before we get into the OCC, I thought there were some interesting things to bring up. So Coinbase recently acquired a crypto builder called Bison Trails, and the deal was for like $80 million. Now, what's interesting about this is that let's see, where is it? Come on. The company, here we go. No, that's them, the go-to firm, blah, blah, blah. This is the article here. Come on, where's the Bison Trails? Now I can't find what Bison Trails does. Here we go. Coinbase did not provide the dollar figure. Nope. Oh, I can't find it. How crazy is this? Well, that's embarrassing. I can't find the point. Here it is. In the cryptocurrency world, Bison Trails touts itself as an infrastructure provider, helping other firms stand up features like nodes, which are intrinsic to the blockchain networks on which a variety of crypto protocols, including Bitcoin, operate. Blockchain is a type of software that creates a tamper-proof, blah, 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 blah. That's still not the full. Bison Trails does something like really important in the banking space as well. I don't know what happened to that perfect article. I had this perfect article on Bison Trails, and I closed it.
Just do a little quick Google search.
I got to do a Google search on
while you're doing that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to jump into this one right here. So Leonidas Hadjilazu, or I don't know how you pronounce his last name. You guys all know Leonidas, but he said, hey, I hadn't noticed this. Sometime between September 26th and October 29th, like he must keep like a little diary where he keeps looking at the website to see if anything changed. He said Ripple changed the number of its customers on its website. So he probably noted somehow, or maybe took a screenshot on his phone on September 26th. He comes back at October 29th. He says they changed it from 300 plus customers to 3 times year on year. Year on year customer growth adds more mystery and brings more speculation, in my opinion. So what he's referring to is this screenshot right here, where you see 350 plus employees, 9 global offices, 300 plus customers. October 29th, 500 employees, 9 global offices, 3 times year-on-year customer growth. So that's pretty big that they're the multiplier every single year, right? So it is something interesting you notice. I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm sure, I don't know, what kind of speculation would you glean from this, from just seeing that? Is it just them getting around to updating the website, or is there them putting some numbers together? I mean, how do you see that they've grown from 300 plus to, all of a sudden being 3 times, year on year growth?
That's awesome.
It's awesome. I'm like, it's amazing. I'm like, it's cool. When I see tweets like this, I'm like, I mean, thank God somebody's monitoring their website, Jeff, because I look at that, I'm like, they have 300 plus customers. You know what I mean? So at some point they did something, and it kind of seems like there's a little more growth. They're sharing. Maybe they're being a little more transparent. Maybe they were kind of holding back a little bit. Maybe this whole kind of inquiry into the SEC, I don't know what caused them to update it, but what I do know is the fact that they have simply blown it out of the water. So it is a little bit of mystery. I mean, Leonidas is really right on. A little bit of mystery. It's like, ooh,
Yep.
what's going on
Just
there,
a,
right?
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a
So,
little
all right,
bit.
just a little bit. So this is the point that I found Bison Trails to begin with, but here I know it's not added yet. Let me add it. Boom. There we go. Bison Trails.
Bison Trails.
Bison. The Bison. So here it's our fully managed platform powers critical infrastructure for the world's leading digital asset exchanges, custodians, funds, and the application with the industry leading availability, security, and a 99% platform uptime guarantee. I think that this is critical because as you're starting to look at what their technology is, and one of the points here, we get into this here, enterprise security, non-custodial, maintain control of your assets. Bison Trails works with many top-tier custodians like Coinbase Custody, while also supporting your choice of custody provider from hardware wallets to self-service solutions. So one of the points here, that we look at, and I found this to be really interesting, the timing of it. But Coinbase getting ready to IPO, Coinbase buying technology that helps secure and build out the infrastructure for the custodians, and it's just one more step in the direction of self-managed banking, from Coinbase's perspective. So the argument of, which comes first, does the bank get into the digital asset space first, or does the digital asset exchange get into banking first? Coinbase, Uphold, Gemini, Celsius, and many, many others, was Sologenics. So many of them are moving in the direction that the old guard is possessed. And we've talked about it a lot, but it's interesting when you start seeing that actually starting to take place. Not just, providing interest on your digital asset holding or lending at a margin lending rate, but something like this, which is expanding their overall powers within the software security space as well, making sure they're moving in the right direction. What are your thoughts?
Well, I really like that they're going to expand at some point. When you start getting you start growing and stuff like that, you got to look at diversification within your own organization and how you can grow the other avenues of revenue, right? If you're an exchange, you got your custody, you have, every time somebody buys or sells, you make money. But then you got to start looking like a Bison Trails, right? You got to look at something where you can expand even further to go ahead and create other monetization pieces. Because if you don't do that, so I think it's a good thing ultimately, and you start seeing a lot of companies do that. Now, it can go the other way too. I've seen pretty smart upstarts, and I'm not going to mention the one that I'm on every day, and all of us are on every day, called Twitter, but they've done some horrible acquisitions, right? And the latest one they're going to sunset is none other than, Jeff, you know it and you love it. It's what we stream to all the time. Periscope. Periscope is going away. They bought this for like hundreds of millions of dollars. They're sunsetting it. But the funny thing about it is when you guys watch it, you're watching it on Twitter, right? You're watching it somewhere on Twitter, either on Jeff's, Twitter handle, mine, or the OTC one, and that's where you're watching it. But there's a standalone app called Periscope. But because Twitter got it, they integrated it into Twitter, so it kind of makes sense in a one way. So in a way, they're getting rid of it, but we don't. Even though ours does stream to the Periscope app, and you could find it there, nobody watches it there. But you always gotta be careful if you're a tech company. How are you gonna promote, and if you're gonna acquire stuff, is it like-minded? Sometimes these tech companies, they go like, we're in a tech company, let's go buy a food company, and it's like it's not the right fit necessarily. So anyway, that's what's up, guys. Channing is here.
Channing came in late, so you know what that means. We got to start from the beginning. Try to
Channing, make us start all over again. It's incredible. We got to start it all over again.
Channing promised to come on one day to talk about Flare Finance, so we got to get that set up.
He did promise it, right?
Yep. Richter, what's going on? Richter is on right now. That's very cool. All right. Hey, let's talk about this thing. Oh, wait, before we talk about that one, I want to point something else out that I don't know if you saw this, but India's largest crypto exchange has a nice, friendly user-friendly app. They're currently at 50 million new users with this app.
Holy
and
cow.
it's amazing. So it's called Coin DCX Go, allows users to trade smaller denominations of 14 of the industry's top assets. This is a big deal, mainly because it's been a little bit confusing in India as to whether or not the cryptocurrency space was going to be allowed or not. And so now we're starting to see a resurgence. It all kind of kicked off about 6-7 months ago, and now there's some conversation to switch it back the way it was before. So they were almost like, shut down for about a year and a half, as there was some negative debate, going on over there. But now it's starting up again. But look how fast it grows. It's exciting. That's massive.
No, it's super exciting. And, I've been, Jeff, we've been talking about a lot about how a lot of exchanges in the United States have all of a sudden halted or they're going to halt. We've seen, the XRP, trust, all these things. But there's been one strong upholding partner there, one Uphold, right? Uphold. And I've talked about JP Theroux. I wanted to put this up there because I find this to be, I want to play this little soundbite here. So this is from Bank XRP. It says, if XRP is a security, very clearly it's not. CEO of Uphold, JP Theroux, says, which I want you to just play this little clip here. Let's see if we can rewind this. And
that's the part of it that I think is the one with teeth.
Turn up the audio.
The rest of it,
hang on a second. Let me just pause this. It's not really. Let's see. And let's see if we can play this.
Part of it, and that's the part of it that I think is the one with teeth. The rest of it, is XRP today a security? I think very clearly it is not, and so something that I think you yourself, Greg, brought up in the past. The mission statement of the SEC or high ranking in that multifaceted mission statement is consumer protection. And if you are going to seek to disgorge 1.34 billion that may have been achieved or sold violating again some of those concepts of asymmetrical information and selective disclosure, the question is, how much damage are you going to cause to?
Okay, so let's just chat about that for a second, Jeff. So I want to jump into this a little bit. He's bringing up a very similar point that we heard from John the other night, right? John Deaton brought up the same kind of point. It's like, hey, look, your main reason for being around is to protect the investor. So that's the first part that he's like going into, talking about. Look, you failed in your first part about this. It's been 8 years into it. Anyway, let's listen back in here. Let's see what else he has to say. Here we go.
To consumers in that pursuit, and I think in this case, the answer has been a significant amount. It's hard to measure, of course, but obviously it's created a crisis for Ripple and for XRP. Predictably, exchanges like Coinbase, who has to think about the fact that it's going public, although Coinbase has never been a big fan of Ripple's to begin with, but with the additional complication of also being about to go public, that was writing on the wall. So for us, until the complaint is adjudicated against Ripple, specifically citing that XRP is a security today, which would be the part that would affect our business, we're continuing to support. And I think every legal mind that we have interaction with, and I'd like to think we've chosen lawyers well. One of our lawyers is in fact the ex-head of the SEC's New York office. All of them feel that it's fairly clear that XRP is not a security today.
Boom.
I like
right
that
there.
Statement, Chip. I think that's awesome.
Right there.
One of the things that he said that's critical, obviously that part. The other part was that it was expected that Coinbase would have a statement on it and stop trading XRP because of their IPO. That we forecasted that as well. The other thing that he said was, until it's adjudicated, Why would he make any movement? It doesn't make any sense. Nobody knows. That's their claim. Ripple says otherwise. Hey, SEC, you had 7 years to say your statement. Now you're saying it, but you had 7 years to say it. Why should things change today? What's different about, when the SEC filed it, whatever the date was of the filing, why was that different than Monday before? What was the difference? What was the difference, an hour before they did it? Why did everybody all of a sudden respond, in such a crazy manner? But we're seeing people respond in crazy manners across the board to so many things. First guy to think rationally through a process. It's kind of like all the other, a lot of the YouTubers out there don't think rationally through anything. We sit there and try to dissect things from a rational perspective. Same thing. I mean, this guy is like going through things, from a rational thought process. Now, he has a ton riding on this comment, right? I mean, he could say the wrong thing and the SEC could say, Uphold. Well, wait a minute. We need to look at your books. Hey,
Yeah, he
IRS, go check them out. Go see if they're abiding by AML, KYC, and all that other good stuff. But this guy, Uphold, has done their business the right way. And like I said, he hired the SEC chair, whatever, from New York. And that's a big statement. That's his attorney. And they all looked at it.
Yeah, I gotta say that, again, I'm a big fan because it's sometimes in the toughest moments when you see the test of somebody. When things are great and everything's going well, yeah, everybody's super happy. But when there's a real test that comes down the road and your business is riding on it, and you've got to make a decision, and you go to your attorneys and they say, hey, listen, look, we're looking at this. That's what we do all day. We don't see how it fits the Howey test. It's not. I mean, and what he kind of alluded to there, and this is something that JP's come out and said. I can call him JP because we're like pals. We got to get him on here, Jeff. I'm on a quest to get JP on here.
Yeah, I hope you guys are like this, man. You guys go way back.
Well, I mean, I like to talk about him a lot just because I love his stance. But the true test of a man or a woman is like the hard times, right? How do they react when everything hits the fan and stacked against them? Do they plant their feet down and like say, we're going to overcome this? And this is what I like about him. He's like, look, we got counsel. We checked it out. And until it's adjudicated, what would we possibly do? It's like, hey, we think that this is that. Is it? Well, we don't know. Well, then why would you make a decision? Now, obviously, Coinbase, I get it. But, we're I Trust Capital. You're seeing all this stuff that's this fallout from, again, SEC was warned. And they went off and did it anyway, Jeff. They're like, screw you. But I still think there's a hidden gem here. I still think that the quickest way to get to any regulation is clash. Bam, you're in, and you got enough people coming out. Look, they got 21 attorneys over there between Ripple, Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson. Yeah, that's a good one. Good
statement right there. Back in the day, Coinbase wouldn't allow XRP to get on their exchange. There you go. Greg Kidd worked with Uphold instead. That's why Linkdo and Uphold work so well together. But it's a great point. Coinbase in the beginning, they were so lackadaisical in terms of adding XRP, and everyone's like, when is Coinbase going to add XRP? And when they add it, it's going to go, it's going to shoot to the moon. And finally, Coinbase adds XRP, and people are like, oh, what's for dinner? It's like it wasn't even relevant at that point.
But you remember on the rumor that it was going to get listed. It mooned. Yeah, it went up to 3 something, right? And then when it actually got listed, it was not even. I think it might have even dropped, if I remember correctly. I think it a little notched down, right, when it actually got listed. But that's part of the thing of being early to anything is that you don't really know. And I think this is another thing the SEC is alleging too, that that Ripple would time things, on releases and news and everything else, like time sales. But the funny thing is, it really didn't drive price or affect price, and it's been shown that they couldn't move the price. When it should have moved, it didn't, and for some reason it just started, going up and down. But that's the markets. Go ahead, Jeff. Grab that.
This one from what Charlie's saying, the 15 or 20 member exchanges in the U.S. are in an organization, and they decided as a singular policy to shut down trading. It's a big club. Uphold and Bitro are not in that club. That's the first time I've heard that from Charlie. It'd be good to see, some backup statement on that, but I wouldn't I wouldn't doubt that that's the case, because it was very well planned. It was like one after another, they all kind of said, here's what's going to happen, some earlier than others. And then finally, but there's Uphold standing out there making that statement that, hey, you know what, we're in this until we see some form of adjudication. So I think that's really good. There was another comment here. Oh, here's another one that I like. Perfect statement from Apex. In business, why make a decision unless you're forced to? That's always served me well. Makes no sense to me why companies would delist XRP because of what might transpire 6 to 36 months from now. That's a perfect statement. I like that.
It's a very good statement. Yeah, it's well said. Yep. And I wanted to share this one from Stuart Adirati. He's the chief counsel for Ripple. He was commenting on a Ripple tweet. The Ripple tweet says 2021 will see crypto at the top G20 financial regulatory priorities. And again, they talk about the CBDCs in production, the industry shaking, M&A, and more. Read predictions from Ripple's Ashish Burla, it's Monica Long, David Schwartz, I'm not sure who that is, Stuart Adirati, right, and James Wallace. So they put out a thing, and so he just commented saying, for better, not worse, crypto will be on the short list of financial regulatory priorities for G20 countries. There is really no choice as these technologies move in the mainstream. He's making a good point because a lot of the G20 has already moved on, and it's kind of like he's dropping somewhat of a little bit of a hint here, just kind of like saying that if you were going to look at G20 and G20 had to make some decisions, look who's in the G20. They've already regulated, right? So it's kind of like a nice underhanded sort of like a lob for, look, hello, anybody, SEC, regulators, let's regulate. And he's absolutely right. You don't have a choice, and it's for better because the world is moving on, and you can't be stabilized, right? I mean, you gotta like move and be fluid.
There's a good fact for you. The XRP went close to $4 when Bitcoin was near $20 at the end of 2017, beginning of 18, and both had nothing to do with Ripple, and there was really nothing. That whole space moved. Everything moved. And then here's another one from Subtle Features. Isn't halting trading in the U.S. essentially proving XRP isn't a security while 4 billion overseas volume is cranking along? And that's it. So here we are, today's the day, right? Today's the 19th when Coinbase is going to stop. And then if we pull up our whole trusty fiat leak, XRP hasn't budged. I mean, nothing, check this out. You got to see this.
It really is one of the best stable coins around. I mean, at least volatility wise, right? It's not
volatility, right? I mean, here we go. Let's pull this sucker up. There you go. Look at that. So you still got the trading, 29 cents. It's sat stable now for like a week plus.
Yeah, it's kind of oscillating
and nothing, right? I mean, it hasn't moved. It's been steady now at 29 cents, 29.30, 29.30, 20. It's kind of settled now in this 29 cent space. Just like in 2017, it kind of found its position at, I remember it was 22 cents, 24 cents, 17 cents, 24 cents, and then it found this spot at like 27, 28 cents. And it sat there while the crypto space was going up. Then all of a sudden, it just started to, blast off during that period of time. And that was kind of a crazy time frame.
Bobby Moneybag says, he says, if XRP is a security, then I want my shares, damn it. Yeah, it's exactly right. But come on, Bob, you knew when you were buying XRP, you thought you were getting contract shares of Ripple. Come on, you knew that. I was like, people don't even know what Ripple is half the time,
Fiat Leak is a simulator. Yeah, it's a great simulator.
It's a simulator.
It's showing the current trade.
But so are humans, Jeff. This is all one big simulation. That's what I've been told. That's what a lot of people are talking about.
Yeah,
they've certainly said. And I wanted to show this because I'm really trying to, Jeff and I are trying to get the word out about this because we've seen some pretty radical growth and we want to keep it going. A lot of times people that come in here and hit the stream, for example, we got a podcast and here we go. So let's do this. Here it is. Join our podcast. There you go, Jeff. So you guys can go there. I just dropped a link right there. So you go here, and this is any of your favorite platforms. It's like a landing page, they call it. It's like calling the business, Jeff. So you click on this little thing here, subscribe, and then you can go over to Apple Podcasts. By the way, Apple Podcasts, I should throw our stats up there. Apple Podcasts is destroying everything. It's like 75 or 80%. And then we've got Google's up in there as well, so it's between the two. I think Google Podcasts only 5%. Then we have browser, where people listen to browser. But anyway, you just go there. And the good news is that, like, if you're a podcast person or you want to listen to something, you just want to turn your phone off and listen with headphones, come here. This is the way to do it. So what we're trying to do is get the word out about this, and we're putting them up. This show will pop as soon as we wrap this show. It'll be up there. So that's one of the things that, guys, go ahead, click that link, go over there, subscribe, whatever your favorite podcast is. Personally, I kind of shocked. I actually thought that Spotify, I listen to all my podcasts on Spotify.
I like Spotify.
And I also use Apple Podcasts because I have an iPhone, but Google's the same thing. If you're on an Android, it's built in, it's native, Yeah.
So check it out. So we were gonna get to the whole new person for the OCC. Didn't get to it today. We'll have to get to that That's a long conversation.
It is a long conversation, Jeff.
We'll have to save that one for tomorrow because I want to get into that. There's some other good ones that I would like to bring in for tomorrow that I think are a little bit longer. We can really dig into. This is a good one. I think we need to put that one up there. Confiscating citizens-owned gold is the same as delisting to punish U.S. citizens with the possibility of confiscating digital asset. Can the same thing happen? We saw you couldn't hold gold anymore. Could the U.S. government come out and say, nope, you can't hold one digital asset in specific? I don't know if it's XRP or Bitcoin, whatever. Could they do that? That's a good one for tomorrow. I'm going to write that down as a topic.
That's a good topic.
What do you think?
Yeah,
I like that topic.
Yeah, and circle back. I didn't see who that was, but circle back because that's that's what I say. That's why we have the smartest humans on the planet that come into this stream.
What does that say? Soul for real.
Soul for real. I'm like, that's a really good, and I always think that people are always on their toes. They're always thinking. They're always connecting dots. They're looking at stuff. And you know what? That is an interesting sort of perspective right there. We'll have to dig into something like that. Guys, first time here, like, subscribe, click that thumbs up, smash the thumbs up. Go down that little description and click that other channel. We have another channel. We drop short form videos, Jeff will do one or I'll do one. We've never done a short form video together. That's weird. That's what the live streams are for. But obviously I dropped the link a little bit to subscribe to our podcast. And when it comes to XRP, I can't be 100% sure, Jeff, but I think it's magic.
It's magic.
And talk about a virtual block.
If you guys go to the description below, I put a link to where you can actually register for the meetup. So if you go down there, we have it limited right now to 500 total. That's the total capacity. We hope we won't have any technical glitches on the 31st when it happens. But if you guys check out the description below, that's where you'll find the link to the other channel, amongst a few other things. But check out the link for the meetup. Go there and register for the meetup. And when you do register for the meetup, then once we get a little bit closer, we're going to be sending out a link through our ticket service in order for it with the link to the actual event. The event's going to be awesome. It's going to be a 2-hour event, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, the 31st. We are going to have a special guest. Crypto Eddie's going to be there. We'll be there. We might have a few other people there, possibly some representatives from BitTrue there. The whole idea, though, isn't to sit around and listen to speakers so much as to interact amongst ourselves within the community. So are you going to be in a big room with 500 people? No. It's nice because we can break it down to individual tables. And in the table, you have maybe 6 to 8 people in a table. So it's going to be a very cool virtual meetup, the first ever virtual meetup. And we're sponsoring it. We bought that software, as we'd mentioned. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be the first of many. And it's going to be a kind of a warm up to a kickoff of a virtual conference that we've been planning for a while. And we finally have a platform to do it on. So I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We're really looking forward to it, guys. So you can start registering there. A lot of people have been asking us, how do I register? Well, there you go. That's how you register. Start signing up. The first one's going to be limited, but I want you to think about this in terms of this is community. We need support from each other more than ever, and it's about going and meeting people. Maybe people you saw in the chat forever. You don't have to put your camera on. I understand privacy, But this is not going to be, we're not going to be recording this and displaying anywhere. This is just going to, whoever's in here, it's private, right? We're not going to, this isn't something we're going to blast out. We want to take your privacy serious, and we recommend that everybody does the same. You know, we're all investors here. We're all adults. And then we come in there and we can meet other people. And, you know, you don't have to put your camera on, but it's probably going to be a lot more fun. Hey, how you doing? You know, or you wear a mask. I don't know. But you go sit at these little tables. You'll have a little conversation. You'll be able to chat.
Just real quick, that's another one we're going to put up for tomorrow. So crypto exchange called Luno that's very popular in Nigeria. I'm really interested to see what's going on in Nigeria in the digital asset space. There's a ton of growth in Africa in crypto and blockchain. Nigeria has had a lot of development over the past years and can be one of those epicenters for Africa for digital tech. And I believe that's the direction. It used to be that Nigeria was known for all those email spam letters. You know, there's always the crown prince so-and-so, and, you know, they want to send you $10 million and then you get to keep $5 million. But for real, though, you know, Nigeria is now, I mean, it's amazing. You know, it's really amazing what this tech, blockchain tech and crypto is doing for the world. And for some of these government officials to not recognize it, it's really a shame. So let's talk about that tomorrow.
That sounds really good, guys. And as always, really appreciate the really good input tonight, man. There's some really solid questions. 2 great questions, a source tomorrow that we can jump into, and, you know, we'll get into it. But again, want to thank everybody for being here. Jeff, do you have anything saying?
That's it. I said my piece.
Oh, Jeff, talk about something. All right.
I appreciate everybody being here, and we'll check you guys out tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the chain.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.